Good evening. This is David Lynn, sometimes known as the Prepper Principal, and this is Coffee Talk, Saturday edition on June the 22nd, 2024, 7 p.m. Coffee Talk number 254. Welcome, and please leave a like to support the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. KP Heathen, welcome. Hope you're having a good Saturday. I've got a good topic for this evening. I think you're going to like it. As soon as we get a few more people into the stream. How are things in Louisiana? What do I have? Oh, we're going to talk about insurance this evening. Isn't that's something that everybody needs to know about? Insurance. Uncle Al, die Bullfrog 79, welcome. Please leave a like to support the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. Well, we did not have rain today, thank the Lord. We've been getting a lot of rain, so I was actually able to get some yard work done today. The yard is really turns into a forest, if you know. I was trying to weed eat along with fencing and around bushes and, you know, trying to deal with the stuff that the lawnmower doesn't get, or the riding mower. And it shouldn't rain in the morning, so I'll go back out in the morning and I'll try to continue hitting it. Six in the house, 5 likes. Idaho Garden Girl, welcome. Yeah, we are in hurricane season. I am Betty. Betty J. Gathers, welcome. And the Black Widow, welcome. Thank you for hitting your thumbs up, Betty. It is appreciated. 7 in the house and 7 likes. Well, I had another mail call, and I'll probably have another one tomorrow. I order stuff, and it starts coming in, and you know, a little bit of it starts coming in. So this was another Amazon order. You know, Amazon. And I'm bulking up on certain items that I give away. Got 2 of these in. Water purification, Aqua Pura. 50 tablets and 50 tablets. Good for a liter each. Items that I got in. So I got some of these stoves on order. They should be in tomorrow. I still have a few people that I need to get a basic packet out to that I feel like are deserving. Margie TV, welcome Margie TV, and welcome Melinda Elliott. "12 in the house, 11 likes. Little Lone Prepper, welcome. Joseph Moore, welcome. When we had Hurricane Harvey come through Victoria, it did a lot of damage to trees and fences, and there were things that were hit hard, and people had roof damage and such. I was blessed that the only problem I had was some trees. I had an old Chinese tallow tree, which are trash trees. Had to take that one completely down. It went over, so we had to clear that one up. And then we had some, we had some limbs and such. We had to do a lot of work in the yard, but didn't have any damage to the home. It was a blessing. But had we had damage, that's where the insurance comes in. And tonight I want to talk a little bit about insurance. So that's the topic for today. The main topic for today is insurance. I'll talk a little bit about insurance. Insurance claims. You have a home, you have insurance. You better have insurance. Just like if you have a car, you're required to have at least, you have to have basic insurance for in case you damage somebody's vehicle, you have a wreck. You got to at least have liability insurance to cover them, even if you don't have full coverage. Most people they don't know about insurance really well, and they go with whatever is recommended. They have a mortgage, the mortgage company gets their insurance likely. They don't shop around for it. And a general house policy, they're no longer in effect. Back in 2008, there were some changes that were made. Since then, it's now divided into your structure, you get a structural policy, and you've got your personal items. So it's like divided in two. And it doesn't cover, oh, well, there was a car, There was a boat, there was a trailer on the property, and they got hit or they got damaged. Doesn't cover any of that. Um, you'll need a rider on your policy for personal items of any expense. You have a coin collector, and it also would cover you in case somebody breaks into your home, which is more of a scenario that a lot of people would have. Is they're not going to necessarily have damage from a hurricane, hopefully, or tornado, but they may be out of town, they may go out of town, or they may not be home, and something happens and they get robbed. Hello, Sexy Cooking. Welcome. Thank you for coming into my live stream. Yeah, looters, Uncle Al, that's true. So if you're in one of those states or cities where they're soft on crime and you got lots of questionable people coming into your area, you better have a good inventory of what you have, and you better have a rider on your policy, because your policy will cover the structure of will cover your property, your house. You may have outbuildings, and that will be in your policy. Like I've got storage buildings up that I put up, and that's covered. That's listed in my policy, outbuildings. But as far as any, like my trailer, if I had a boat, which I don't, anything of value, that you need a rider on your policy. Sort of like renter's insurance. Back in the day, I was in transition, and we stayed we had an apartment. It was a nice apartment, but we had an apartment for right at a year. Actually, it was about 13 months because I had to pay for one extra month. It had to extend it one extra month before I could move into my new home. And I had a renter's policy. And important stuff, expensive stuff that I had on my policy. And the way that works is, you've got to have like receipts. You've got to have pictures. It's a good idea to have an appraisal, a written appraisal of the value of something. Like if you got an antique, coins, guns. If you got a hobby and it's expensive photography equipment, computers, any high tech that's expensive, you need to have a rider on your policy specifically covering those items. Or if something happens, you're out of luck. That's just, unfortunately, the way things are. And I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody. Keith Jenkins. Welcome, Keith Jenkins. Thank you for welcoming the Little Lone Prepper. So let me go over statistics real fast. I like to go over statistics. I'm sitting at 1,603 subscribers, which is where I was sitting yesterday. I'm sitting at 16K views for the cycle, 28-day cycle, 4 weeks. That's basically 4,000. You could say about 4,000 a week. My watch time's at 551. And my last live, 106 views. I had 98 views during the last live. Since then, I've had a few extra people come in, and there are a few people that do replays, and I appreciate that. My current short, the one that's active right now, has 425 views. I really need to load something else up, starting to slow down. And my last video, which was the Hillbilly Josh goodie box, there's 72 views. And I'm in the process of trying to put together my 1,600 subscriber giveaway, because I do a subscriber giveaway each 100. And I've already let it be known that of the 9 people who qualified, mom of 4 boys, Rachel, is the winner. And I'm trying to get that put together, and it'll be a premiere this coming Wednesday. It will not be a long premiere, but it'll be a premiere, And so that you know, so that you're cognizant of the fact. Oh, I don't know. It may be, I'm looking, I've got all my lights, so I don't know. It may be, I don't know. I mean, I see myself moving. I don't think I'm in a loop. Isobar, welcome Isobar. But at some point, I'll be doing a 1,700 subscriber giveaway. And if you want to qualify to be in my drawing, it's very simple. Each of the last 5 videos that I release, or I will have released at the point that I hit 1,700, you need to have left a like and a supportive comment. It's not brain surgery. It's not hard. Well, and then the idea there, if something serious was to happen to your property and things got trashed, your structure's covered and you have a certain amount for clothes, personal stuff that you have, clothes, furniture, that kind of stuff. What's not covered would be like big ticket items, things that would cost you a lot to replace. I would not worry about trying to have items that I bought at a yard sale that's not very expensive, or would not be very expensive to replace. I would not be having, that's not what I would be putting on a policy rider. I would be putting jewelry. Do you have jewelry? Do you have any expensive jewelry? Do you have a coin collection? Things that might be stolen, you know. You have expensive you like a $2,000 camera. You have a $1,500 Mac computer. Those would be the kind of things that I'd be putting on my. You got guns. You got a gun collection. Do you have some antiques that are really that known for a fact antiques or something that's very collectible? You have collectibles. If you do, you need to get like my friend Dave, uh, Yoda. He's got a pretty big card collection, and it's like he's got sets of cards. Well, you can go and you can take a picture of that, and you can go to a place that legitimately sells. They sell that kind of stuff. They collect and they sell. They market in that, and you can get them to do an appraisal and write you an appraisal. This is what this is worth. This is like if you want to go and sell, you want to sell something like that, or you want to sell a coin. You got an expensive gold coin that's like 150 years old. You want an appraisal from a reputable dealer. It's like you have an expensive painting. Yeah, you need to make sure that you got the proper coverage. Bad things can happen. You need good coverage. What if you have a fire? What if there's a fire, an electrical fire or something? You know, you have looters come in and they rob you and then they spray paint everything. You know, hell, they could start a fire. You never know what vandals will do. Oh, and, and that term vandal, that was actually one of the German tribes, one of the the small German nations that invaded the Roman Empire. They were the Vandals, and they did a lot of damage, and that's where the term vandal became such a bad, a bad name. Um, Back during the Civil War, there was a Union general by the name of Hooker, Fighting Joe Hooker. He allowed camp followers to accompany his army when he was commander of the army, Northern Army. And he had a lot of women of the evening and, you know, courtesans and such, you know. And they were called, they gave them the cliched name hookers. And that's where that term hooker came from. But that was actually a Union Army general who allowed camp followers and prostitutes and such to accompany, the troops into camp. I mean, they didn't go out in the battlefield with them, but they went, like when they would camp, you'd have a camp with 60, 70, 80, 100,000 men. They get paid once a month. Well, they had to have some way to spend their money. Hillbilly Josh, welcome Hillbilly Josh. But that's a true story. And the Vandals, well, I told you the name Vandal, where the Vandals came from, that was a German tribe. That's a true story. They were some of the ones that came in Ostrogoths, the Visigoths, the Vandals, they came in and they did a lot of damage and basically trashed the Roman Empire in the 5th century. Yes, Black Widow. A safety deposit box. Who just came in? Vogs? Toronto side. Welcome, Vogs, Toronto side. I'm not paying attention and greeting people when they come in. Welcome. So, 13 in the house, 14 likes. Please leave a like to support the channel if you have not done so. It will be greatly appreciated. So as I said earlier, for those of you who have just recently come in, I got in a couple of more of these folding camp stoves. These Coggins, and you know, and you use camp heat for them. This one's a 6 hour. It'll burn 6 hours, and I mean, I got more than I got several of them, and I've got these on order. These will probably come in tomorrow. I ordered them at the same time, but I don't know why. They'll come in separately. Those use the tabs. I also ordered and got another one of these. These are good to have. This is a 2-part. You got a tablet A and a tablet B. You put in your tablet A, and you let it dissolve for 30 minutes, and then you put in your tablet B for about 30 minutes, shake it up, and then you should have drinkable water. Now, you're not using pool water, you're not using toilet water, you're not using salt water out of the sea. That's not what this. We're talking about drinking water that would be fresh water from a lake, from a stream, from a river, from a well, from rain catchment. You'd use that for this. You could also use a Life Straw or a Sawyer. This is a 32 ounce. It's almost like a liter. This is a 22 ounce. And they've got filtration. And they'll last you forever. They're not cheap, but they'll last you. So Prepper Book Club, welcome Prepper Book Club. So, you know, talking about prepping, you need to have a list of what you need. What sort of prep should you have? What are you prepping for? Scully, welcome Scully. Scully Pop. What are you prepping for? What's your scenario? You need a list of things that you need. Where do you get that? Well, you can get it off the internet. There are lots of people out there that are willing to talk and do videos about prepping and about items that you need for your, for your bag or for your home or, you know, for your scenario. And you get that list. How many of those do you have? How many can you check off? And then you start shopping. And you don't have to spend a lot of money for preps. I mean, just like, I've got so much stuff sitting around. It's just extra sitting around. This is a manual can opener. It's also got a bottle opener. I paid $2 at Walmart. So, when they cost $2, I bought 5 of them. And I've already got can openers. But at $2 a piece, these normally go for about $6, $7 where I live. When you can get stuff on sale, buy it. Mike, Crusher Reviews. Welcome, Mike. You know, you get a lot of people, and they're journalists. They do podcasts. They do streams and such. And they do it professionally. That's what they do for a living. My profession is education. Now, back in the days, I taught journalism. That was one of the subjects I taught. When I first started in education, I had taken classes in journalism and photography in college, in addition to education and special education, and I'm certified in those areas, and I'm certified to teach journalism. So back in the day, I was at a smaller school, 600 students. It was a high school, 9 through 12, 600 kids. And that was like considered a 3A school, so it's not a really small school, but it's not a big school, you know. You get these big schools that have a couple of thousand, high schools that have a couple of thousand kids, you know. And I would teach one class of journalism. I did the school yearbook, and I did the school newspaper. And I did photography on the side. I used to do event photography. I was incorporated. I did event photography. Weddings, Sweet 16s, quinceañeras, school dances, sports, pictures, you know. And I made good money doing that on the side, you know, but way back in the day when I was young and I had hair. But today, everything's, you know, back in the day I used film. Everything's digital now. And, did Mimi come in? Mimi. Did you come in, Mimi? Die Bullfrog said, hello, Mimi. Where's Mimi? I don't see Mimi in there. Did you make a comment, Mimi? Oh, okay. Back in the day, she came in for a minute and made a comment. Well, thank you. I'm sorry. You get a lot of people who come in to a live stream and they stay for 3 or 4 minutes and they leave. And if the host is busy talking and not paying attention to who's coming in to be greeting, I apologize. But what I was saying is, you know, technology has changed. Now everything's digital. So like we do a live stream, Uncle Al would basically say I should be using my computer. And really, I've got my desk full up of junk. So I really should have my computer sitting right here in front of me. And that way I'm projecting with it and I can look at it and it's pretty good sized. the type is pretty good size, so I can see while I'm doing it. And if I need to make a response, I just key it in. But I'm using my iPhone, and then my computer's sitting over here at the side on a side little table, and my front is here just full up with junk. And I know I need to get organized or reorganized and get stuff put away. I'm just telling you that I'm not what you'd call a professional. I'm not what you would call a professional operation. I'm not. I don't do this for a living. I don't get paid to do this. I'm not sponsored by anybody. This is just me. This is sort of like my. I hate to call it a hobby, but it's like my hobby. And I'm not monetized. I could get monetized, and it might take 10 years before I get a check from them. But I qualify for monetization. And there are people that they depend on the money that they get from YouTube. There are a lot of channels that's their that's a source of their income. And and you think about, well, I talk to people, and Uncle Al would say they're sharecropping. he calls it sharecropping. But I talk to people, and rules for journalism. Oh yeah, it used to be you were supposed to not, give your opinion. It was supposed to be, middle of the road. You were just reporting the news: who, what, when, where, why, how. The 5 W's and H. I used to teach that. How to write an article. How to report something. 5 W's and an H. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. That was the basis of what you were doing. And nowadays, everything, you've got, well, this is a right wing, and there aren't very many of those. And this is a left wing, and there's a hell of a lot of those. Your news, your video, your news, your cable stations, your 3 main networks, your print media, if there's still print media out there, and they oftentimes have electronic as well. A lot of this stuff is electronic. My news I get is electronic. There are certain sources that I go to, and it's it's electronic. But I think about that. I used to teach, I used to teach it. And then when I was a principal, I would write, and I would send into the local newspaper. I would do I had an agreement with this weekly paper. It was a weekly paper. They would come out once a week. It was, and I had a agreement with them that I would submit a monthly article. And it would be like the state of the school, what's going on. I would do lots of positive stuff like thanking people and everything. Different people. So touchy-feely, feel good, and I'd talk about things going on in the school, how we were doing. And I guess you'd call it an op-ed. And I used to do that. I got a bunch of them. I got them saved. I got them laminated. And things have really changed. I thought about going to work for the local newspaper when I retired 6 years ago. I thought about doing that. Heck, I can write. I can do photography, take pictures. You know, when you work for a small organization, you're usually, they don't send out a photographer. You're the photographer. You know, you go out and you got your pad with you, and you go and you go to the event, you cover the event. You know, they know who you are. You got your press, you know, pass, whatever, your credentials, and you got your camera with you, and you go out there and you take pictures. It looks like it's freezing some on me. I don't know why that's happening. We are 40 some odd minutes into the live stream. Thank you for coming in, Mike. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday, church day for a lot of folks. And I enjoy, you know, in education, I enjoy being off on the weekends. You work Monday through Friday and you're off on the weekends. Right now I'm on summer vacation. I will be off for another 6 weeks or so. I've been off for right at about a month. Almost a month. And I'll have another 6 weeks or so off before I go back. And you get paid when you're on vacation. Payday's normally around the 26th. Retirement checks usually come out. You get them deposited on the 30th. So at the end of the month, I usually get my retirement check and I get my paycheck. So, you know, looking at insurance, you really do need to look at that. You really do need to look at your insurance and your situation. Yeah, Brooks and Dunn. I think one of them passed away, right? I think one of them passed away. So, every couple of years, you need to update that insurance. You need to update the insurance every couple of years. You need to make sure that it's still, you know, you're up to date on the values. And you do need an appraisal. If you have anything of value, you need to have pictures of it. You need to make sure if you got receipts, you turn in a copy of your receipt. I'd have them all in a book, a binder, and a 3-ring binder. And you need to make sure that the insurance has that, and you need a rider on your policy. And they're not that expensive, you know, not that expensive to put a rider on your policy. And shop around. Same thing with prepping. Shop around. Shop around for your preps. Make sure, you know, here's my latest one. And I've got more than one. I've got my inventory of my plastic totes inventoried in another one I got up here. I have them numbered, what's in them. If I change it, I update it. I get more of something, goes into the tote, I update it. But like, I mean, things that I buy, order numbers, what I bought, what I paid for it. I'll put prices on stuff. What do I pay for it? Like when I get a can in, like order number 10 can or I get a pail in, I indicate when I got it, the month and the year, and then I put the price down on it, what I pay for it. And I've noted that prices keep going up. Everything's more expensive now. Your money doesn't go as far. There are people struggling. There are really people struggling. Welcome, Mama Four Boys. How you doing, Rachel? I was saying, Rachel, that I'm trying to get my video of your box put together. It'll be a premiere this coming Wednesday, and I will list all 9 individuals that qualified. And the way you qualify is that you leave a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 videos that I have released when I hit the next number. So like I just hit 1600. When I hit 1600, I went and I wrote down that last video, which was the Hillbilly Josh goodie box. I wrote down all 28 names of people who had left comments. And then I started backtracking those other 4. And when I got down to it, I only had 9 people who had left a supportive comment on each of the last 5. I had several that had left a comment on 4. I missed one. Well, it happens. You know, it happens. I had several that on 3 of them. You know. But if you want to be in the drawing and you got pretty good odds, like 1 in 9, only 9, you're going to draw 1 of 9 is going to get it. Got to think about that. Hello, Bud Files. Got to think about that kind of stuff. So, I guess I need to get down to bread and butter. And I need to... Uncle Al's been giving me topics we communicate. He's been giving me topics. So, like, the topic for today was, like, insurance. Yesterday... talked about cooking and talked about various seasoning stuff that you should have, extras. Talked about sleeping gear. What do you need to have if you are out and about, or you have to go, you have to leave? What should you have if you went to a shelter? What should you take with you? We covered personal information, and I can go over those things. Also talked about first aid, and talked about flash flooding. Talked about transportation. These are all important topics. But, a lot of stuff, you got to cover the basics. Like having a carry bag. What do you have in your carry bag? What's the list of stuff that you need? Well, you need food and water. Top of the list, food and water. Clean water, drinking water, canned foods, a means to heat the food, mean to open the cans, can opener, manual one. You don't anticipate having anything electrical. Electricity is probably not going to be working. Um, yeah, a pocket knife, a multi-tool. Having a good multi-tool. Having a good pocket knife. I've got a bunch of them, but this is my favorite one to carry. This is a Smith & Wesson, and it's got a punch on the end of it so I can break glass. I can cut cordage. It's got a good blade, lockback blade, very strong, good grip. It's legal. This is a legal carry knife. I can slip it in my pocket. I bought it for $25 plus tax several years ago. I need to check to see what it costs today. I got it at Academy Sports. Yeah, that's true. They just issued a report on the quality of the drinking water. They're required by law to issue a report. Towns are required. Towns, cities, they're required by law to issue a report on the quality of the tap water. You know, my doctor many years ago, when I had a kidney stone down in Corpus, he said, "Do not drink tap water. Make sure you drink filtered water. Too many minerals. Minerals lead to buildup in kidney stones." Now, that's not saying that drinking the tap water is going to kill you. It's not going to kill you, but it's not advisable to drink it. It's advisable to have it filter out any of the minerals. I've got a well. It's not a deep well, and it's hard water. You can use it for watering your garden, your yard, wash your car, wash your clothes. Wouldn't want to drink it. Wouldn't want to use it for cooking without some serious filtration because of all the minerals. You know. Got to think about that kind of stuff. Really is important. So, preps like matches. 99 cents, 10 pack, 32 in each pack. It's over 300 matches. Used to call them kitchen matches, striking matches. Diamond. Strike on the box matches, 32 in each pack. 10 packs. 99 cents. 99 cents. I have lots of stuff that's cheap. Like when you start buying preps, a lot of times the first preps you buy are the cheapest ones you can find. So like I brag about the fact, and I mean I have multiples, but I mean I brag about the fact that, well, I got one of these radios, these crank radios. It's also got a flashlight, and I can USB charge with it. and I can use flashlight, and it's got a crank, and good for NOAA emergencies, AM/FM. $18. It's life gear made in China, and people will make fun of it. Well, yeah, you got money. Go buy one for $100. Get all the bells and whistles. Go spend $50, $75, $100. That's fine. I've got more expensive ones. You know. I've got flashlights, but I really like these. This is a life gear. $18 at Walmart. And you can plug it into a USB, charge it. It's got an 18650 battery in it. So it is a battery bank. Small one. And it's got indicator lights when you use it. 100%, 75%, 50%, 25%. And you can also use it to charge your phone. You can plug in a cord, charge your cell phone. $18 plus tax. $18 plus tax. Lithium LEDs. And people will make fun of that. You know. Alacaneda, welcome. Alacaneda out of India. Alacaneda's Vlog. Welcome. Thank you for coming in, young lady. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I've got lots of water stored. Lots of water stored. And you can always use more. Same thing, I got lots of food stored. You can always use more. And I've been right now I've been sticking with freeze dried. I've been bulking up on freeze dried. Different number 10 cans or pails. You know. You know, what's your scenario? What are you prepping for? What is your scenario? I'll give you an example of another one. I started to buy it. I did not buy it, but I started to buy it. I was over at Walmart, and I went into sporting goods. And they will sell shotguns, and they'll sell rifles, bolt action, lever action. A lot of like the little semi-automatic 22s and different, you know. And they had a youth, and I did not get the brand, but they had a pump 20 gauge shotgun. It probably would hold 4 in the tube, one in the chamber, so it probably hold 5. You could put a sleeve on the buttstock, and it'll hold an extra 6 rounds. And I would keep it loaded with triple-aught buck. I'd get a sling for it, loaded with triple-aught buck. And that would be like home defense. Very good. $182 plus tax. It'll cost you $200 in Texas. Nice self-defense. It's not a real long barrel. It's a youth gun. For older people, for ladies, for young people. If you don't want buckshot, get like number 5 shot. It'll take care of your problem. You know. That would be my number 1. The second one would be a .38 revolver. Double action, 6 round, 3-inch barrel. and have a couple of speed loaders and know how to use them. And that's not they're not that expensive. You can get them super expensive, you can get them reasonable. Items that you should have. You know, being serious about items you should have. Items that I recommend. You know. So, every day when I wake up, I thank God for the day. I say the Lord's Prayer, drink my coffee, I think about things. Try to stay up on what's going on in the news, communicate with people. I went to breakfast this morning with one of my former teachers. Paint and Body Man used to be a teacher at my school when I was principal here in Victoria. I was the career principal. I was over all the career programs at the 2 high schools and at the special campus where we had all the shop classes, you know, and I was the career principal. And that's been at least 12 years ago since I left there. Okay. But I still stay in touch with certain people. I have former teachers that contact me, employees and such. They ask me questions sometimes about, and I'm not up on, usually a lot of it has to do with like discipline or contract stuff, and I'm not up on the current changes. I mean, I was I was the guy to talk to 6 years ago, but I have not gotten on any of the updates, and I haven't stayed up with it, you know. So you've got to, it's like getting getting your first aid training through the Red Cross or community college or local county hospital or whatever. Every 2 years you got to renew to be up on it, and you've got to stay up on that kind of stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I bought this. I ordered this. Let me show you what came in. And this was a good deal. I think it was a good deal. I paid $7 for it. It's laminated, so it's in plastic, so you don't have to worry about getting it wet. $7, and it's all about life-saving. All the basics, CPR and life-saving, all that stuff. You can put it in a binder, 3-hole punch, $7. Good deal. I like that. The tiny ones, the tiny survival guide and the tiny first aid guide, these are nice, but I don't know that a lot of people would want to spend $12 for one. The 2 of them together with tax and everything is about $26. I have them, and they're very small, and you can take them, you know, and you can take them out when you're traveling or whatever, or in your carry bag, or you know, your vest pocket or whatever. I mean, it all comes down to, you know, being prepared, prepping, having things you need to have, and keeping track of things you need to keep track of. Don't eat people. Nope, don't want to eat people. Have a garden. That's right. Uncle Al was saying you need a 2-year supply of food, water, all the various stuff that you need to keep going, because that first year is going to be really rough, and then the second year you've got to basically grow what you need to get by between foraging and hunting and fishing, and you need a victory garden. You need a big victory garden. That's where you need extra hands helping you. So I appreciate everybody coming in, and I will be back tomorrow for a Sunday edition of Coffee Talk at 7 p.m. Central Time. Everybody, please have a blessed day. I appreciate you coming in, and God bless. Bye-bye.